that because we got so deep as you and I do on Rally X. But man, thanks for calling in today, and we will be back after this on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. That's 800-913-9739.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-788-1495. 800-788-1495. 800-788-1495. That's 800-788-1495.
And yeah, we're here once again to wrap things up on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show. And what a show this one was, man. Banger episode. The potpourri of awesomeness, the all things could happen show. And yeah, we pulled in a guest, talked some rallycross. Haven't done that in a minute. A little bit of everything else. Big thanks to General Tire, GFX Wheel, Rigid Industries, Kicker Audio, Sure Can, Tuffy Security, Misadventure Life. We got some awesome partners in the show, and thanks to all of you for tuning in. I'm off to the Mint 400 this week. Yes, the biggest, baddest off-road race on the planet is going down in Las Vegas. If you're in V-Town, come out. It is awesome time on Fremont or out at the track. If you're not, we have a full TV production live stream going on Friday and Saturday. I'll be streaming it to my Facebook page. I'm picking up the simulcast, but additionally, head over to YouTube. That's probably the place to watch it. But it is, trust me, man, that is an absolute banger of a broadcast. Bringing in Jim Marsden from Europe. We got Ricky Johnson on the call with myself and Bob Bauer, who is a Hall of Famer. And then we got Tiffany Stone in the pits. I mean, you got 5 people that are some of the best in the business, maybe me excluded from that group. But, man, it is a good time. So definitely tune into that. And, we got so much stuff happening here. Give me a follow at Jim Beaver 15.
Coming up next on the mighty Sports Byline Broadcast Network, YouTube.com and Twitch TV as well. Of course, it'll be Ring Talk, live worldwide. 4 decades, your inside look into the world of boxing and MMA. We'll talk about the new world of Zuffa Sports. I'm talking about Dana White. We'll talk about boxing last night, of course, Emanuel Naverette. Eddie Hearn going to fight Zuffa Sports to want to take them on competitively, and that'll be good for the sport of boxing. Straight up Ring Talk after the break right here on Sports Byline and sportsbyline.com.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. The 2026 NASCAR season enters its third weekend, and for the most part, things are going as well as they have for the sanctioning body in what feels like a decade. 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports' lawsuit against the sport had been a hovering black cloud in 2025 and was mercifully settled in December. In the months since the court case ended, those on all sides have finally felt comfortable enough to admit what everyone already knew, which was how much of a distraction it was. Owned by basketball legend Michael Jordan and current driver Denny Hamlin, 2311 Racing's most notable driver is Bubba Wallace, but its most valuable driver is a guy named Tyler Reddick. You've probably heard the name recently. He won the Sports Super Bowl, the Daytona 500, 2 weeks ago. And he followed that up by making a mad dash to win in Atlanta last weekend, driving a car which finished the race with no right front fender. The first guy in 17 years to start the season with back-to-back wins. And Reddick's story is one that NASCAR 2311, his manufacturer Toyota, and his own personal representation ought to be forcing more into the conversation of mainstream sports. I think he's got the talent and a story that deserves it. An outgoing personality, Reddick's a 30-year-old, 5'5" redheaded dynamo who's married to the daughter of a former Major League Baseball pitcher with whom he has 2 beautiful kids. His youngest, named Rookie, was born last May. In October, at only 5 months old, Rookie underwent surgery to remove a tumor that was affecting his lungs and chest. Reddick was not only dealing with his professional life coming to an abrupt halt if 2311 had lost the suit, but he was also going out there week after week with his heart wrenching for his family. Thankfully, everything has turned out okay for Rookie, and he's doing well. Same for his father, who never once blamed the distractions for his drop in performance last year. Reddick has brought his career Cup Series win total up to 10, and is back showing the skills and confidence that he had when he made the championship 4 2 seasons ago. Can he open this season with 3 straight wins, which no man has ever done? Well, he's won at 2 unique super speedways to open the season, and on Sunday, Reddick will be driving on a road course in Austin, Texas, which happens to be one of his best tracks. Look, I love talking about Carson Hocevar because Hocevar is a young, polarizing, and exciting driver whose prickly personality provides some extra flavor in NASCAR's mostly vanilla world. But when you have a person like Tyler Reddick, who's on the roll that he's on, I think you need to do a little more to drag the rest of the sports world into the story. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA, Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly. Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos, ladies and gentlemen. Coming at you live from the Sports Byline Studios in the City by the Bay, San Francisco, California. Check it. This is it. Ring Talk, live worldwide. Often imitated, but never duplicated. How can I say that? Because I was the original. That's right. The first. I'm talking about maybe not the godfather of boxing on the radio, but the bottom line is I've been doing this for better than 4 days, knocking out all bums. Who am I? My name is Pedro Fernandez. Welcome to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. As I said, 41 years in the making, straight up. This is the longest running fight show in history. I should be in the Guinness Book of World Records, all that kind of stuff. But straight up, let's talk boxing for the next 2 hours. Of course, I'll try to bring in the retired HBO Godfather. Of course, talk about Larry Merchant. And I want to push him on the difference between working with Jim Lampley and Barry Tompkins. Barry Tompkins I knew for a long time. Of course, he broke out here in San Francisco when I was a kid. He went to City College. He was working for Channel 5. That was the first sports show, the first sports guy they ever had on the news. But the bottom line is we'll talk about Barry Tompkins, Jim Lampley, the difference, and why Barry Tompkins got fired from HBO. If Larry Merchant will go there. If he doesn't, I'll go there by myself. But straight up, we've got open phone lines around the planet, and I do open up the show at the top of each hour just once for you listeners if you'd like to call in. 1-800-878-PLAY. That's 1-800-878-7510. Of course, we come to you live on Twitch.tv and Sports Byline USA. That's the Sports Byline USA channel, as well as YouTube.com. And, I guess the world is still buzzing over Ryan Garcia. In fact, our British boxing hair, Barry Rabbits, right? He's in therapy right now because of the fact that Ryan Garcia won every minute of every round last week. I called him on the phone 3 or 4 times this week. His therapist answered the phone. All 3 times, it was his therapist. Barry can't talk. He's suffering from Garcia mania or something like that. So anyway, we'll try to get Barry on next week. But straight up, Barry is still suffering from the residual effects of Ryan Garcia just pitching his shutout, just beating the snot out of Mario Barrios for 12 rounds, 36 minutes, never lost a minute. Straight up, this is Ring Talk Live Worldwide on Sports Byline, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM, Satellite Radio, the American Forces Network, Stitcher.com, TuneIn.com. Did I mention YouTube as well as Twitch.tv? Straight up, that covers about everything. Straight up, this is Ring Talk Live Worldwide.
Okay, let's have a little fun. Do you use the expensive blue pill to perform better? Are you thinking about it? So, what if we can promise you results for less than $1 a pill? Okay, so these same pills can cost you $30 or more at a pharmacy, and our better blue pill works for less than $1 a pill. You'll save $29 or more per pill. And right now, we'll give you 120 blue pills for just $99. Have a little fun and call right now. Get 120 of our better blue pills for just $99. Don't overpay for the other blue pills. Call Steel Man Pills right now and get the better blue pill for less than $1 a pill. Call 1-800-BUY-BLUE, 1-800-BUY-BLUE. It's easy to remember. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. That's 1-800-BUY-BLUE. And thanks for calling.
Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
He is Mexican. He's proud to be Mexican. September 14th is Mexican Independence Weekend. And the best fighter in Mexico will be there defending his title. Congratulations.
Bob Arum talking about Emanuel Naverette. That was a couple years ago. Of course, this was a guy that I followed back like 2018 to 2019. He was a 122-pound champion. I thought he was long and lean for that weight. And, of course, now he's at 130 pounds. And last night, what can I say? He looked pretty good. I mean, if not pretty good, damn near spectacular. The bottom line is he is now a three-division champion, having won the titles at 122, 126, and now 130. But Eduardo Nunes came into the ring a undefeated lad, or once beaten. The bottom line is he was for real. I mean, he was for real. And he never was in the fight, not for a minute. Not after the referee's instructions. I mean, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. I mean, talk about every minute of every round. I mean, Nunes, I kept waiting for him to fire it up. But guess what? When you're small and you don't take chances, you're going to get your ass kicked. That's just the way. That's boxing. And people don't want to face that fact. They rather go in there and try to do the pedestrian thing. I'll jab with him. I'll jab with him. I'll jab with the bigger guy. Listen, unless you're Roberto Duran, you're probably not going to beat the bigger guy unless you jump on him and kick his ass, okay? And the bottom line is Nunes didn't look to kick that ass last night. Instead, he got his ass kicked and was stopped in the 11th round. So it was a pretty good fight, no doubt about that. And Navarrete now 40-2, 40 wins, 2 losses, a draw, and 33 whacks. Is he like 37 years old now? Is he getting old? Is he really that old? I don't think so. Bottom line is, I don't think he's that old. But the bottom line is, Eduardo Nunes drops to 29-2 with 27 KOs. Put it this way. in the world of Joke Paul, this was a good fight for Saturday Night Boxing. There's just no doubt about it. I don't care who promoted it. I don't care if it was Top Rank. I don't care who it was. It was Amazon Prime or The Zone. Whoever happens to have it last night, because there were cards both on Amazon and The Zone. So the bottom line is, it was a pretty good Saturday night of boxing. I thought it was. So now I bring in the man from the Bronx to talk about Mr. Tommy D as we go from left coast to right coast and bring in Sir Thomas Dillemuth. How are you today, sir?
What's going on, Pedro, man? I'm doing all right. Yourself?
No complaints, no complaints whatsoever. What do you think about Shakur Stevenson saying that he's scared? I think Ryan Garcia was on drugs or something. Nobody could be that perfect. He really said that.
I mean, there's doubt in Ryan because Ryan already popped.
But none of you, for some of you guys that haven't boxed, this blows my mind. I mean, for guys that have boxed, this blows my mind. I don't care what you take, it ain't gonna bring you up to another level. It ain't gonna do it, man. I don't think so. Anyway, bottom line is. I saw his, they blood tested him after the fight. I saw the mark on his arm where it was covered with a little blood test bubble and the bottom line is, so he was tested after the fight. It's been longer than a week now. If anything was going to come up nasty, it would have came up nasty by now. So listen, for you guys wishing and hating on Ryan Garcia, it ain't happening.
Pedro, I don't think you're seeing what I'm seeing. I mean, maybe we're seeing two different things, but, yeah, Ryan looked good. The last performance, he looked phenomenal. He won every minute, every round, against a guy that's very limited, in my opinion. Probably one of the worst champions.
You're right. No, listen. Now, there's true.
But wait.
Hold on. It's true that you are a 3. Is it true you were like a 2-1 favorite over Barrios? So Ryan was a 3-1 favorite. So keep going. I get what you're trying to say here. You would have stepped in.
No, I could have stepped in, and I might have done the same thing. I mean, hey, but what I'm saying is, when you look at the two performances before that, the last performance against Rolly Romero, where was that Ryan at before?
Well, wait, that's the same Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero. Rolly lumped him up in the gym. We've played that Ryan rap over and over again on the show, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, Rolly, listen, that was not the fight to take, and not to be at 200. I mean, if you're not at 100%, I'll say one thing about Rolly. Rolly can talk good, and Rolly will outwork you if you let him.
I agree with that. I agree, but where was that same performance against Rolly? Like, he was nowhere near, like, the effort and, the right hand and, he looked a little explosive in the first half of that fight against Barrios. There was none of that in any single round against Rolly Romero. The last time we seen Ryan Garcia look impressive was
but here's what's up. You're only as, wait, time out, Tommy. I hate to interrupt you, but you're only as good as your last fight.
You are, and then
all right, and he looked great, and he looked great in his last fight, and you guys are trying to take away from that. Listen, Barry's in therapy. Do I need to send you to therapy too?
I have my own therapist I got to deal with. So.
Oh, I'm happy. Anyway, let's switch gears. We can go back to that. Emanuel Naverette looked pretty good last night. Put it this way. If you don't make a statement against a tall dude, what happened last night, it's like a pre-written script. You've got to upset the script early. Nunes didn't, therefore he got licked like a stamp.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I agree with that 1,000%. But also, I mean, I haven't seen Navarrete look this good in like 4 or 5 fights since the first Oscar Valdez fight. I'm talking about not just the fight itself and in the ring. I'm talking about, the weigh-in. He looked great.
Well, let me tell you, he's got a nutritionist now. He's got a nutrition expert, and it's Winchell's Donuts, because I saw him wearing the T-shirt, Winchell's Donuts. So he's training at Winchell's, and no, I'm just kidding. He's got a nutrition guy. The Winchell's thing was a bit of a cross. I mean, he's got a nutritionist now. He's taking care of business. He should have had one a long time ago. I recommend that to every fighter. Every single fighter I come in contact with, I say, talk to a doctor, maybe go to a nutritionist. And guys look at me like I'm queer. What do I need to go to? I eat okay. I mean, bottom line is you don't know what you eat until it's broken down scientifically.
I agree. But now with that being said, like Navarrete, I thought he looked great. I thought he looked phenomenal. I picked him to win the fight. I didn't think he would stop. I thought he would go to decision. He'll get a decision. I thought the experience was huge factor in this fight. You know, he's way more experienced. He's been there with way better guys than Nunez has been in there with. And I think Nunez was a little starstruck too. Right? A lot of people may not say that, but in my opinion, he looked a little starstruck. Like this is a guy that he looked up to. I mean, fellow Mexican. I thought he was a little starstruck as well.
I think so, but here's what's up. I'll keep saying this. You're not going to beat the taller guy boxing with him. You're just not going to do it. You can sit there. You're going to get your ass kicked. You're going to be on the end of a pole all night. That jab will be a pole. And then every once in a while, he'll throw the right hand in there. So, you've got to make a statement against these tall guys. And these guys go in there, and they don't try to. That's what kills me, is that you can't. There's no way he was going to win that fight boxing the way he was boxing last night. He never made any desperate moves. I'm talking about Nunez. He never really wanted to cross the line. Instead, he got his ass whooped. He stood there and he was passive to an extent, and because of that, he got lit up. I'm not trying to say he wasn't going to lose. I'm trying to say he could have put up a far better performance.
I agree. Yeah, that's fair. I agree with that.
And as far as Naverette is concerned, at 130, I think he's finally found his calling as far as his weight's concerned, because he didn't look like something out of a Let's Feed Africa movie. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't. He looked healthy, and the nutritionist, I still couldn't understand that, though. He hired a nutritionist, at the same time enters the ring wearing a Winchell's Donuts t-shirt. His whole corner, I think they were wearing Winchell's Donuts t-shirts. What were they thinking?
Hey, because that's what he does between fights. He goes up in weight. That's what he does. He's known for that, But he's limited at 130. He tried doing 135. He lost to Barancek. And Barancek is nowhere to be found since losing to Keyshawn Davis. So that was a bad loss, right? And now 130. He got Oshaki Foster there. I would like him to see a running back with that Filipino guy that he fought the last fight that gave him problems. I think it'd be only fair to give him another shot, but. Those are the two fights I think he should take one of those two next.
Okay. We're going to go into last night's card a little bit deeper. Let's go to an early break. You are tuned to Ring Talk Live worldwide on Sports Byline. If you'd like to hook it up with Tommy D, I'll open up the phone lines, 1-800-878-PLAY. That's 1-800-878-7529. You are tuned to Ring Talk Live worldwide. Check it. Your inside look in the world of boxing.
Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816.
Sometimes life changes and the house you once loved becomes a burden. Too many repairs, too many memories, too much to handle on your own. If you'd like to sell your home fast, we can help at the Home Buyers Hotline. We can help you sell your home as is. No cleaning, no showings. And there are absolutely no hidden fees or real estate commissions. We'll pay you a fair price for your home in cash. Whether you're downsizing, handling an estate, or just ready for peace of mind, call us. We'll help you walk away from your problem property in no time at all and get you the cash in your bank account with little hassles. If you'd like to sell your home fast, as is, we can help at the Home Buyers Hotline.
Call Want to Sell Your Home now for a free quote to sell your home in any condition. Call 800-950-3143. 800-950-3143. That's 800-950-3143. Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time. Time that you could spend writing your book, or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
My thing is that, you know what, we're all special. We know, like you said, nobody deserves to go out like this. And unfortunately, my card was dealt with, having to go out like this. And, well, all I can say is that I had 45 great, wonderful years of life. I had 20 good, wonderful, great people behind me throughout my boxing career, which is all the fans, all you guys for the fifth. I love you guys. I appreciate everything you guys ever did for me.
That was a Ring Talk exclusive, June 5th. Wow, June 5th, 2 days before he died. That's right, he died on June 7th. Straight up, I'm talking about Gennaro Hernandez, man. I miss Gennaro, and the reason why I play that every once in a while is to keep it real. I mean, June 7th, 2011 is when he died. He was on the show June 5th. That was a Sunday. He talked about checking out and the fact that, he'd been dealt a bad hand of cards. But you know what? He was proud. He went on a proud guy. And you know what? Of all the people I know in boxing, there's not one person that's ever had anything negative to say about Gennaro Hernandez. So, Gennaro, El Chicanito, rest in peace, my brother. Straight up, you are tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. You take it from back to the East Coast, of course, and bring in Tommy D. Tommy D, were you surprised any other fights last night on the card?
I was surprised. I thought I picked Tamir Smalls to win against Ramos, and I was very surprised in that fight. I thought he was tailor-made for him, but I mean, I was surprised. But then again, I didn't think much of Tamir Smalls at the same time because I thought he got a gift decision his last fight. And then I'm surprised they scored a draw with Martinez and Cardonas. That was.
Let's go back to Smalls though. Listen. One judge, the other guy, I landed him like 70 or 80 punches and like that, okay? And guess what? One judge had it for him 6-4. I mean,
yeah.
You've got to. I mean, this spit with an H. It's got to be called out, man. That's crazy.
How can and it happened in the other fight as well. How can one judge see it 8-2 for one guy, and then the other judge has it 6-4 for the other guy? Like it doesn't make sense. Like that's way off. Like what fights were they watching? They were obviously watching two different fights. And in the Smalls fight, same thing. I think one of the judges had it 7-3, but then they gave Smalls was it 7 rounds to 3 or 8 rounds to 2?
No, Smalls had a 6-4 card. Smalls had a 6-4, and it was split. And it was split. So
that's
I mean, here's what's up. I thought Abel Ramos. I mean, he outworked him like convincingly in my mind.
Yeah,
it was convincing.
Yes.
At the end, here's what's up. You shouldn't have to go into this matter of suspense with a boxing match. You shouldn't have to. Like Larry Merchant said, you want to know who won a big title fight? Ask a 7-year-old kid. It's not that tough.
You're right. I mean, they're going to tell you who won. They're going to be honest with it, and
I mean, even David Wrong Way Sutherland last week he had it right, 120-107.
Yeah, and then he had another judge give what do you call them? Welfare rounds.
Welfare rounds. That's right. I'm talking about. Yeah, was it Weisfeld? Steve Weisfeld gave him 2 welfare rounds. I mean, why? I mean, to take away, it was a shutout win. I think he deserved. Listen, when you shut somebody out, there's nothing quite like getting the scorecards, Tommy D, because I used to get them. I used to read them all the time, okay, when I fought. And I'd say, go get me the cards, go get me the cards. Anyway, and I look at the cards and said, and if you won all 3 rounds, you sort of looked at those cards, and it was sort of indicative of your performance. Sometimes it was indicative of your performance. When the judges had it wrong, it wasn't. But it was always good to be able to look back at the cards and the judges, isn't it? And, I just look at, I mean, Smalls maybe won the first 4 rounds, but after that, he didn't do nothing.
Yeah, yeah, it was a joke. But the right guy won, which is good. So I
Okay,
mean, at the end of the day, the
let me
right
go
guy
through
did
the
get the
scores
win.
here. 98, 92, 97, 93, and 96, 94 for Smalls. Ramos gets a split decision, improves to 29-6 with 3 draws and 22 KOs. 6 losses. He's been on the short end of a couple of big fights, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the Barrios fight is definitely one. The fight before that, which is against Barrios. I mean, if he gets the nod against Barrios instead of the draw, maybe he gets the fight with Pacquiao. He'd be a world champion, right? And then he fights Ryan Garcia.
Is it fair to say that at this point in time that Mario Barrios couldn't lick a stamp?
I don't like to say that about fighters because he could probably beat me. So I'm not gonna say that, but he's definitely, in my opinion, one of the worst champions I've seen.
Yeah. All right, but here's what's up. So what does that say about Ryan going out there and looking so good against him? Is that something we need to tap Ryan on the shoulder for, or just say, the other guy's horrible?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, because I don't like to. You don't ever want to discredit a fighter. Ryan looked good, and he did something. He did something we haven't seen him do in a while. He had his father coaching, training him for the fight. He used the right hand a lot more. He wasn't really waiting to just throw the left hook.
The jab.
So he did some things. And the jab too. Yeah, he did some things in that fight. So you got to give him credit for that as well. But Barrios is Barrios, and that's why Suleiman and the WBC, they've been wanting to make Ryan a champion for a long time, and that's why they made it a mandatory, even coming off of a loss.
Yeah,
right? How do you have a ranking system?
Listen, I know this whole system is somewhat suspect at times. I mean, I'm putting it lightly. Somebody sent me a text here. Don't you think that Tamir Smalls was a muscle bound black guy and that was too muscle bound, too tight? Think that played a part?
I don't know.
Too muscle bound down the side. I thought he was pretty quick, but he got tired down the stretch. No doubt about that. Those body shots didn't help.
No, definitely didn't help. But Tamir Smalls is a guy that they put some money behind him because he's a boots Ennis guy. They work together. They're the same camp. They got the same trainer. But what that says about Bozy Ennis, man, he hasn't had a good run with other fighters other than Boots. He's got a lot of losses recently.
Well, speaking of Boots, Boots Ennis, Jaron Ennis, how come he's not? How come I don't know. Where is he?
I don't know. They've been trying to make the fight with Ortiz. I don't know why they're looking to fight Ortiz. They should be trying to fight a champion, in my opinion.
Because Ortiz brings. I think Ortiz. If you fight Ortiz, you're going to make some money.
Oh yeah, you're going to make big money. That's the big money fight. But I think they can make big money. By fighting a champion and then eventually becoming a world champion.
Okay, Ennis is ranked number 5 according to BoxRec.com as far as the pound for pound fighters are concerned. Isn't that a bit of an exaggeration?
No, I don't see why not. The guy's undefeated. He unified 147, and now he's at 154 looking to fight the top guy, or the top guy that.
Oh, are you trying to tell me? Trying to tell me he deserves a better shot than David Benavidez?
Oh, in the pound for pound?
Yeah.
No.
No, how come Dave is down there at number 7? Shakur's number 1, Crawford's number 2, Hunter Nakatani number 3. Take that back. Inoue number 1. Shakur's number 2, Crawford's number 3, Nakatani's number 4, Jaron Ennis number 5, Saul Alvarez, who is that guy? David Benavidez number 7. I can't believe that this BoxRec.com, this thing's a bit of a scam. It's got to be a scam, but a hustle con, because if you've got Saul Alvarez ranked over David Benavidez, and he ran for David Benavidez for 4 years. 4 years. Benavidez was the youngest super middleweight champion in history. I think he was 20 years old. He's 21 years old. Now he's like 27.
Yeah, it's a joke. These rankings are a joke. It's all biased. I think it's a joke. That's why I'm saying you see lately we've been seeing world champions become guys become world champions after a loss, getting title fights. Fundora was one of those guys. Obviously Ryan Garcia.
Who can fight better, Sebastian Fundora or his sister?
I think his sister is a better fighter. I honestly feel that. I think Fedor's pretty
You know
good.
what, man?
You know, he's a weight bully, but
If I had to live that rap down, I mean, I think I might jump off a bridge. I mean, if somebody told me my sister was a better fighter than me, I might jump off a bridge. I mean, maybe that's just my ego. Or the fact that I live close to the Golden Gate Bridge, one or the other. But I'm telling you,
I
man,
think she's a better fighter.
that would kill me. That would kill. Yeah, man, my sister's a better fighter. Your sister ever been knocked out? No, but I have. Oh!
Wow. That's a low blow.
So, low blow. Sebastian Fedora taking on once beaten Keith Thurman. Of course, that's an upcoming card to be at the MGM Grand, I believe, in Las Vegas, Nevada. But he's 6'5", 154. How do you beat him? Jump on him quick?
I think so, and you know, go to the body a little bit, you know, too, and you know, and you might have to, you know, win some exchanges. I mean, you know, Mendoza was losing that fight before he stopped Fundora. You know, he just landed a good shot, but there were other guys that had some success against Fundora. You know, Lubin had success against Fundora before he got, you know, stopped. Zhu was doing well in the first 2 rounds before the cut.
I think Fundora's slow, and I think he's slow-footed, and that if you're slick, you can adeptly move yourself around him and kick his ass. I just think so.
Yeah.
I do. I think you can get in between his punches and things like that.
No, I agree with that, definitely. And people have proven that. It showed it. His legs, he has bad legs, and you know, and I think it's because of his size. He's too tall. You know, he should be a heavyweight, right?
He should be in porn.
He's like 6'4" or something like that. Like he should be a heavyweight.
No,
he's like the same height as Deontay Wilder.
He's 6'5", 154 pounds. He sounds like a porn star. I mean, come on, man. Think about the physical dimensions. No, I'm just kidding. Straight up, 1-800-878-PLAY. That's 1-800-878-7529. Somebody shot me a little text here. Yeah, you know, Navarrete looked wonderful last night. He's probably the best he's looked since Isaac Dogbo. I don't know if it's been that long, but the bottom line is he looked good last night, no doubt about that. You are tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide, your inside look at the world of boxing and MMA. We come back from the break, I'll push Tommy D on the difference between, you know, Zuffa Boxing and Eddie Hearn and Mark and Queensberry Promotions. I mean, is Frank Warren going broke? And is this Sheik holding the cards? And bottom line is, we got to know. So Tommy D has all the answers on the other side of the break. You're tuned to Ring Talk Live on Sports Byline, iHeartRadio, Twitch.tv, and of course, YouTube.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. That's 800-913-9739.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work. Real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Tommy D made me play that. Straight up, you are tuned to Ring Talk Live worldwide. Check it, your inside look at the world of boxing and MMA. Hey, you know that Ryan Garcia clip we got there, impeccable one? Line that up for me. I'm going to pull it sometime in this segment, okay? Straight up, you are tuned to Ring Talk Live worldwide. Your inside look at the world of boxing and MMA. What's up with you and Joe DeGuardia? You didn't go out to Long Island last night. What's up?
Oh, no, I didn't make the trip out to Long Island. I mean, there was one local guy that was on the card that I know of.
Time out. Joe didn't send you a car?
No, he didn't send me a car.
I gotta talk to brother. I gotta talk to him. I'll give him a call this week. He should have sent you a heated town car. I won't say what he should have put in it, but the bottom line is your wife might be listening. So what I'm trying to tell you is he should have sent you a car full of attractive things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you lure them. Hey, listen, I remember one manager said 2 hookers in my room in the LA. I was working a fight card at the LA Forum, doing the TV for the LA Forum one point in time. And a friend of mine says to me, he goes, hey, so-and-so's a pimp. I said, really? Oh, you got to be kidding me. So I'm kicking back. I'm in my room. It's about 11:30 at night. I hear a knock on the door. I open the door, and these 2 chicks. And I mean, these chicks are fine, Tommy D. I mean, like double fine, triple fine. And I say to myself, you must have the wrong room, okay? And that's what I tell them. I'm sorry, you must have the wrong room. And she goes, oh, no, we're here to see you. I said, who sent you? And I won't say what the guy's name was, his real name. We'll say his name was Phil. No, we'll say his name was Frank. Maybe his name was Frank. But the bottom line is he sent these 2 chicks in my room. I had to send them away because the last thing I wanted to do, being a former cop, was being compromised in the sport of boxing by some clown manager. Feel me?
Yeah, no, I got you.
I mean, that wasn't good. So, Joe DeGuardia, by offering you hookers and massage and blow and all that kind of stuff, I can understand where you didn't go.
I would have no comment on that. No comment at all.
Okay, let's talk about one of boxing's up-and-coming stars. You and I talked about this before, that if Emiliano Vargas makes it, he's going to be the next maybe Mexican-American star if Virgil Ortiz doesn't beat him to it. You think that still stands?
I think it's a possibility. I mean, he got tested a lot last night. You know, that was a good test for him. I didn't agree with the stoppage at the end, but I think we learned a few things about Emiliano last night. I think we learned that he could take a punch. I think he showed that he has a good chin, and we showed that. I think he showed that when times get a little bit tough, then sometimes you got to pull out some tricks and be a little bit dirty as well, because he was a little dirty in that fight. I don't know if you picked up on it.
You know, I don't know if you picked up on it or not, but the bottom line is Ryan Garcia's team sent us this yesterday.
No wonder people say Ryan Garcia switches girlfriends faster than he throws a punch. Let's start with his first love, Catherine Gamez. They dated during Ryan's early rise. She's the mother of his first daughter. But before the baby was even 6 months old, they split. And here's the twist. While that relationship wasn't fully over, Ryan was already talking to his next girlfriend. Ryan and Andrea got married in 2021. They had 2 kids together. Now, here's the wild part. Just 1 hour after their son was born, Ryan posted on social media celebrating the birth. Then the very next post, he announced he was filing for divorce. The divorce statement hadn't even cooled off before Ryan went public with adult film star Savannah Bond. High-profile relationship, big engagement announcement. He claimed he spent $1 million on the ring. Forever love didn't even last a month. Right after that, he moved on to influencer Michaela Testa. When he was chasing her, he flooded social media calling her my queen, said he'd personally train her in boxing. He even publicly offered $500,000 cash to anyone willing to fight.
Okay, that is Ryan Garcia's love life brought up to date. Somebody asked me, what's Ryan Garcia doing these days? So I thought I would publish that, and it'll probably piss a lot of the boxing purists off, but I did it purposely to just do that, piss you guys off. Straight up, this is Ring Talk Live. Well, I got to infuriate you guys sometimes. Of course, you boxing diehards, you guys hate Ryan Garcia. In fact, I'm wondering, Tommy D, were you writhing in pain during that?
I really was. I mean, this is a guy. Ain't he like a man of God? And he talks about God and this and that. And
but
you know
here's what's up. The God thing. Listen,
it's a gimmick.
Listen, the whole God thing is a bit of a con. I mean, I have to tell you, when the First Testament, I researched this. When the First Testament was written, less than 1% of the population was literate. So there was only a chosen few writing this so-called Book of God. Okay, and then of course I got into the beef with my Sunday school teacher when I said to her, "Who took that picture of God up there, of Jesus Christ up there?" And they said, "No, it's a painting." And having been to a museum a couple of weeks before, I knew that the artist put the painting, drew his name down in the corner, the right-hand corner of the painting. So I went out to see who the artist was. They threw me out of Sunday school, sent me down to the dean's office, you know what I'm saying, for asking questions. And the bottom line is, I realized right then and there, it's a con. I mean, if there was one God, there'd be one God. There's like 19 million gods. There's not everybody's got their own God. They just do. And if you want to invent one, you can invent one. But the bottom line is, I think it's, and people are going to get pissed off from me saying this, but I think it's just mass hypnosis. I mean, come on, man. An invisible guy in the sky watching you do everything. And get this. He parts the sea. He can walk on water. He has a virgin mother. What more can I say? Come on, man. That stuff's impossible. No comment?
I have no comment.
It's impossible, though. I mean, come on, that's just it. See, you can't even comment on it because when I put it in that perspective, you realize, yeah, it does sound a little crazy. No?
I still have no comment, Pedro.
Oh, man, somebody must be looking over your shoulder. Anyway, yeah, okay, I get it. Emiliano Vargas, when's he ready for a title shot? Another 3 or 4 fights?
I would say a few more fights. I don't think he's ready now. You know, Matchroom knows how to match up the guys. And, you know, listen, you know, everybody talked about Top Rank and they matched guys well. Listen, that was a tough fight for Emiliano. That was a good fight. That guy came to win. The guy was talking about beating Emiliano and then fighting Shakur next. Like, the guy came to win. Time
out. We're disrespecting him. Augustine Quintana.
Quintana, yeah. From Argentina.
Yeah.
You know? And I think he only been stopped once before. And, no, he performed well. That second round was a great round, probably the best round for Quintana. And then I think he won a couple rounds after that as well. You know, but, you know, Vargas, you know, took some good shots. I thought he led with the head a few times. I thought he headbutted, you know, Quintana a couple times. He, you know, not headbutted, but I think he led with his head a few times, right? And, you know, therefore marking up Quintana's face a few times. I don't know if you peeped that, but yeah, I mean, it was a good fight, good test for Emiliano.
Quintana drops to 22-3-1 with 13 wax scores. Vargas improves to 17-0, 14 KOs. His father does not look like he's been hanging out with Jenny Craig.
No, oh my God!
No. Listen, man. I know Fernando Vargas. We used to hang out with a lot of chicks, right? And Jenny Craig wasn't one of them. And obviously, he's still not hanging out with Jenny Craig because last night he looked like 2 Fernando Vargases there. He looked a little puffy. And plus, man, you know, the residual effects of professional boxing and or alcohol and drugs, I think they started to take their effect on him. He sounded like he was slurring a lot last night.
Yeah, it's definitely taking effects. It took its toll on him. You know, he's been through a lot of wars and, he didn't treat his body, the best, so.
And you know what? He pissed away a superstar career. And when I say that, I know he had the fights with De La Hoya and Trinidad, but had he not gotten into trouble with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, that domestic stuff, all that crazy stuff down there, being drunk, being acting a fool, had the Sheriff's Department not booked him on a couple of things, I think the Duva people would have extended him. What I mean by that is they would have given him another 1.5 or 2 years in order to develop him into a fighter that could beat Felix Trinidad. Because at that point in time, we knew they were throwing him in over his head with Trinidad at that point in time. But they had to get some return on their investment, the Duvas. Feel me?
Yeah, no, I definitely do. I mean, they threw him in there with a lion, and he wasn't ready. Even though he came to win, and he performed pretty well early in the fight. He dropped Trinidad, but he was not ready for Trinidad in that moment.
And then, wait, time out. And we're talking about Flintstone vitamins. Then he fights Oscar, and he has Oscar on the verge of destruction in the very first round. I'm sitting there, I'm going, whoa. I've watched Oscar in the gym since he was like 17 years old. I never saw him hurt in my entire life like that. Okay, and he was sitting on that second rope. I said to myself, Oscar's done. He's about to get done. And Fernando couldn't finish him, and then Fernando gets stopped later, and then Fernando, he goes into the ring looking like he's a little extra muscle bound. Turns out he's taking Flintstone vitamins as well.
Yeah, because that was the best I've ever seen Vargas look, right? And it's funny because I remember one of the interviews before the fights that he said, and he did, and he says, look at me, I'm in great shape, phenomenal shape. He said, look, Mexicans are not supposed to look like this. And that was like the telling sign that he was juicing, he was taking something.
Okay. Last night, I guess the upset of the night was unheralded Venezuelan Lorenzo Parra, whose father was a pretty good fighter, defending the WBO International Featherweight Champion against Elijah. Take that back. He made Elijah Pierce eat his words. I thought Elijah Pierce was like a 4-1 favorite here. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did. He was a big time favorite. Elijah Pierce. He's a solid featherweight. He's got a good amateur background. He's been in the ring with some really good fighters as far as sparring is concerned. He's known as kind of like a gym guy, and this was his big moment. This was his big fight, and he got lit up.
Well, listen, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. You know why I'm going to say that? I got some ammunition here, okay? Bottom line is, when Pierce got knocked down, his eyes were rolled back in his head, which he was knocked out, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, Parra. But I got to mention this. During yesterday's weigh-in, Pierce had tried to mock Parra by handing him a package of women's maxi pads. They had a likeness of Parra on the front, with his name wearing a big pad. It's safe to say Parra wiped a smile off his face. Oh.
Wow. Yep. And rightfully so. That was good. Great performance by Parra. Elijah came in there talking a lot of trash, saying that Parra was no good. Parra just recently had a draw with Omar Trinidad, who I like, and that was a close fight. And then he was saying that Omar Trinidad, he was calling him a bum and all kinds of names. And Parra just lit him up, man. He knocked him out on his feet.
Okay.
If the referee doesn't get in there in time, he might have landed like 3 or more four punches.
Okay, Bailey just asked me if you wanted to hear about Ryan's sex life again.
No, I please. Didn't he admit to liking that? You know what? I'm not even gonna go into
it. All right. March 14th on DAZN. The aforementioned Gabriela Furtore is taking on Viviana Ruiz. I was watching a couple of chicks fights over the weekend. Again, chicks are asked to fight with bigger gloves than they should be wearing, and it just makes women's boxing look like cat fights.
Yeah, there was a women's fight last night on that Elijah Pierce Parra card that she stopped. That there was a stoppage. Like she beat the dog snot out of somebody. The trainer, the corner had to stop the fight.
You are tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Make it 52.5 minutes past. So let's take an early break. You are tuned to the longest running fight show in boxing history, Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Of course, this is a 2-hour show. The retired HBO Godfather Larry Merchant. He is not picking up his line. So what does that tell me? Larry went out partying last night.
I'm an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680.
Special alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations, not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers, and we have the inside track. Call now and we'll take you through these new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Get out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track to get rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. That's 800-949-0039.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
My corner would have let me win out on my shield. I'm a warrior.
That is Deontay Wilder, 2008 Olympic bronze medalist, a bronze bomber. Call him what you want. Straight up, of course, Tommy D knows him personally. And I got to ask you, Tommy D, him coming back to take on Derek Chisora April the 4th, looks like it's going to go to the O2 Arena in London. It'll pack that place. It'll probably do about 70,000 people. Whatever that place holds, it'll be full. Of course, Deontay Wilder, the former heavyweight champion of the world, he's got a lot of money. Why don't he just walk away? That's the question I got for you from one of the viewers.
I don't know. I agree with the viewer, and I agree with all people that say that he shouldn't. He's made good money. He's made great money. And especially, he has a great story as to why he got into boxing in the first place. And I don't think he needs to prove anything to anybody else. But, fighters want to do what they want to do. And, he's going into a tough fight. He's going into the UK. He's going overseas. You don't know what happens over there. And he's fighting a guy that the people love over there, in Derek Chisora. He's not going to go light on it. That's going to be a tough fight for him. And, and the way Deontay's looked in the last couple of fights, I'm a little worried for him. But listen, people are going to do what they want to do. But I agree. I think he's done what he needed to do in boxing. He's made a good amount of money. He was world champion. Didn't really have much of an amateur career. And he's successful. He's a good American story, in my opinion. So.
Okay. Evil Rick wants to know, how good is Hamza Shiraz? 22-0, 18 whacks with that controversial draw.
I think he's a very solid fighter. I mean, I think he's okay. I mean, I thought he lost Adamas, and they gave him a draw so he wouldn't get the loss. I thought Adamas beat him up. I thought it wasn't even close. He moved up in weight. He fought a guy in Berlanga, and Berlanga, I don't think much of him as well. But he went into hostile territory. He came into New York City. I was there at the fight, and listen, he closed the show. He closed the show, and he stopped Berlanga in devastating fashion. So. But it's been a while. That was July. That was July of last year. So that's already almost a year already.
Okay.
It's like 6-7 months.
Third question coming in from Easy Ed. You don't have Pedro on your Friday night show anymore. Is that because of your alleged ties to YouPorn?
There are many amendments in the United States, and I am going to plead the fifth right here. So I'm gonna
Listen, man. You are the Sunday shot caller. I can't thank you enough for your performances, your appearances here on Sunday, and I thank the wife and I thank you, and of course I know it's a commitment on the family to do this once a week. I mean, because you got to be somewhere in order to do it. So I really appreciate your time. There's no doubt about that. And when I give you a bad time on this show, it's only because I love you.
No, I definitely appreciate it. And I love doing this show. This is one of the highlights of my week, and I start the week off right on being on the show. So I love doing this. This is great, and you give me the opportunity to do it.
Well,
so
it's not an opportunity, man. We are so privileged to have you. Anyway, I got to run to a hard break. Thank you so much.
All right, Pedro, take care.
The incomparable Tommy D. Sir Thomas Dillemuth. No, he's not the same Tommy D on YouPorn. They just got the same name. Straight up, this is Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Stay tuned. Hour number 2 coming up after the news right here on Sports Byline.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. The 2026 NASCAR season enters its third weekend, and for the most part, things are going as well as they have for the sanctioning body in what feels like a decade. 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports' lawsuit against the sport had been a hovering black cloud in 2025 and was mercifully settled in December. In the months since the court case ended, those on all sides have finally felt comfortable enough to admit what everyone already knew, which was how much of a distraction it was. Owned by basketball legend Michael Jordan and current driver Denny Hamlin, 2311 Racing's most notable driver is Bubba Wallace, but its most valuable driver is a guy named Tyler Reddick. You've probably heard the name recently. He won the Sports Super Bowl, the Daytona 500, 2 weeks ago. And he followed that up by making a mad dash to win in Atlanta last weekend, driving a car which finished the race with no right front fender. The first guy in 17 years to start the season with back-to-back wins. And Reddick's story is one that NASCAR 2311, his manufacturer Toyota, and his own personal representation ought to be forcing more into the conversation of mainstream sports. I think he's got the talent and a story that deserves it. An outgoing personality, Reddick's a 30-year-old, 5'5" redheaded dynamo who's married to the daughter of a former Major League Baseball pitcher with whom he has 2 beautiful kids. His youngest, named Rookie, was born last May. In October, at only 5 months old, Rookie underwent surgery to remove a tumor that was affecting his lungs and chest. Reddick was not only dealing with his professional life coming to an abrupt halt if 2311 had lost the suit, but he was also going out there week after week with his heart wrenching for his family. Thankfully, everything has turned out okay for Rookie, and he's doing well. Same for his father, who never once blamed the distractions for his drop in performance last year. Reddick has brought his career Cup Series win total up to 10, and is back showing the skills and confidence that he had when he made the championship 4 2 seasons ago. Can he open this season with 3 straight wins, which no man has ever done? Well, he's won at 2 unique super speedways to open the season, and on Sunday, Reddick will be driving on a road course in Austin, Texas, which happens to be one of his best tracks. Look, I love talking about Carson Hocevar because Hocevar is a young, polarizing, and exciting driver whose prickly personality provides some extra flavor in NASCAR's mostly vanilla world. But when you have a person like Tyler Reddick, who's on the roll that he's on, I think you need to do a little more to drag the rest of the sports world into the story. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-Minute Warning.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly. Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos, ladies and gentlemen. Emanating, coming at you from the multi-million-dollar Sports Byline Studios in San Francisco, California. Check it. This is it. Ring Talk, live worldwide. When I say the original, I mean the original. We were the first podcast back in 1994 that said, you're going on the internet. We were with the Talk America Radio Network. They said, you're going on the internet. There'll be people listening to you in Russia and all around the world. I said, yeah. Bottom line is, that was 160 countries when the internet started. Now it's close to 200. Straight up, this is Ring Talk Live worldwide. Live on the internet, live on Sports Byline, live on iHeartRadio, of course, live on Twitch.tv, and of course, live on YouTube as well. Straight up, this is your inside look in the world of boxing. My name is Pedro Fernandez, in case you didn't know. Of course, I'm an award-winning writer, 4-time Gold Glove champion. I can sit here and brag if I want, but I'm not going to. Straight up, open phone lines around the planet, 1-800-878-PLAY. That's 1-800-878-7529. Last night, bit of a, how can I put this, a dramatic, a good, Emanuel Naverette probably hasn't looked this good in his entire life. And although he wore the Winchell's t-shirt into the ring, he has a nutritionist, and I think that was the key behind this. A lot of guys, they don't know how to eat. I mean, they don't. I mean, a lot of guys are from the hood, don't know how to eat to begin with. Bottom line is, you got to learn how to eat. I think eating was the most important thing that I didn't do right when I was boxing. A lot of times I thought eating was good, meat was good, all this kind of good stuff was good. A lot of stuff was bad for you, but we didn't know because it was all old school. I mean, come on, you didn't even get laid when you were boxing back in the days because it would affect your legs. That's what they told you, right? Yeah, all right. I don't know. Anyway, bottom line is Ray Leonard sort of proved that to go the other way when he had his girlfriend in his training camps with him, and he never had any problems with his legs. 1-800-878-PLAY. That's 1-800-878-75. Is our toll-free phone line around the planet, of course. I want to bring up the fact that Deontay Wilder's going to take on Jarek Chisora. I talked about that with Tommy D in hour number one. Of course, that is a big fight in the UK. It'll probably draw a sold-out capacity crowd at the O2 Arena, no doubt about that. But Chisora is a bit of a gatekeeper. He's always been a gatekeeper, never been a guy to win a title. So what I'm trying to tell you is that they're bringing Deontay Wilder in there to lose, but he might win because of the power. Who knows? 1-800-878-PLAY. That's 1-800-878-7529. This is Ring Talk, live worldwide on Sports Byline. More after the break.
Wendy's has a new Girl Scout Thin Mints Frosty Fusion with Girl Scout Thin Mints cookie pieces, rich creamy frosty, and a mint chocolate cookie sauce. Which means Girl Scout Thin Mints and Wendy's Frosty, yeah, they're basically best friends now. It's like two delicious desserts just high-fived, snapped a few too many friendship selfies, and then rode a tandem bike down a never-ending road of mint chocolate frosty perfection. So, swing by Wendy's and try the new Thin Mints Frosty Fusion.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work, real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
Check it. You are tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide, your inside look at the world of boxing and MMA. Of course, boxing coming to you live on Amazon Prime. Boxing coming to you live, of course, on all kinds of little tiny channels. YouTube seems to be picking up a lot of the slack. It doesn't seem to appear that Top Rank and Bob Arum have their own contract. I'm wishing them the very best luck. Because I've been around since 1964, 65, and you can't get a TV contract. Says a lot about Bob Arum, doesn't it? Straight up, the Zone has got things going on. DAZN. If you haven't got a subscription yet, you probably should. March 14th, Jazz of Dickens taking on Anthony Karachi. It's going to go down in Dublin, Ireland. In Anaheim, California, the 14th, the same day, of course, Arnold Barbosa taking on Kenneth Sims. March 19th, from San Juan, Puerto Rico, Felix Pereira taking on Alfredo Cruz. March 20th, the midnight card, 12 o'clock midnight. Michael Conlon taking on Kevin Walsh. That's coming to us from Belfast, Ireland. March 21st, George Lodar versus Tyler Perry. That's coming to us from London, the UK. Carlos Adames, the guy that got burned in that draw with Hamed Saran, mentioned a little bit earlier. Hamas Sharon, but the bottom line is Carlos Adames freaking on Austin Williams. That's in Orlando, Florida. That's March 21st. March 28th, Moses Aidama, the future of the heavyweight division. Undefeated now. I think it's like 13-0, 11 knockouts, something like that. Taking on Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin looks like a roadblock, a road bump. A bump in the road. I mean, I think Moses is probably the best heavyweight out there right now. I kid you not. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Oleg Usyk. He's a current world heavyweight champion, but he's going to take on some kickboxer in a couple of months. I'm not really happy about that. I think that Joke Paul, that's right, Joke Paul has ruined the game of boxing. He just has. I mean, all the stuff that he's brought along since he came around, I mean, fake fights. I mean, you guys were paying for fights. Some of you actually paid for fights to watch him fight kickboxers. I mean, listen, Bailey in the other room has got no fighting experience, and he could have done better against Jake Paul or Joe Paul than those guys. I mean, I'm telling you. It's just, I mean, and yet you built him up, made him a hero, a YouTube star, this and that. He's getting more money than anybody else when it comes to boxing. That's a shame. It's just an absolute shame. And let's go back to the schedule as far as the zone's concerned. March 28th, as I mentioned, 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time. That's going to be 10:45 here on the West Coast. Most of the time in Jermaine Franklin. You want to watch it? Circle that date on your calendar. March 21st. April 4th, the aforementioned Derek Chisora, the heavyweight gatekeeper from the UK, has lost to everybody when it comes to the big time. In other words, he can't seem to get over that hump. But he's taking on Deontay Wilder, 2008 Olympic bronze medalist, of course, the bronze bomber. Man, listen, he's in trouble. I mean, the residual effects of professional boxing are already beginning to show on Deontay Wilder. And he's like only 36, 37 years old, but you can see it on him. I mean, he's slowing down. His face is getting slow. When you see guys, when their ability to respond is delayed, delayed responses. That's what you're getting from Deontay Wilder, delayed responses, and that's not very good. April 18th, of course, 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. 11 o'clock out here on the West Coast. Straight up, Callum Smith versus David Morrell. That's coming to us from the land of the Beatles. Talk about Liverpool, England. And, of course, we got the big fight going on May the 2nd. Man, it's going to rock and roll. There's no doubt about that. I'm talking about David Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez. People say to me, Zurdo's too big for David. No. David Benavidez is like a big guy to begin with. He's a guy that walks around about 200 pounds, 210 pounds. But he's down and he's trimmed because I saw him last week at the Ryan Garcia fight, and I have to say this, the guy looked like he was like 175 pounds. He really looked lean. I hadn't seen David Benavidez look that lean in a long time, because when I see him between fights, he never looks fat, but he don't look lean. He doesn't look sculpted. He looked sculpted last week. There's no doubt about that. He's taking this thing with Zurdo Ramirez very, very serious, because Zurdo Ramirez, the WBO, I think a WBA or something like that, cruiserweight champion, 200 pounds. Of course, now once David wins at 200 pounds, he's going to come back down to 175 one more time, and he wants to fight Dimitri Bivol. Bivol beat Canelo Alvarez, of course, and Bivol sort of got an injury. Bivol, listen, these guys are getting injuries and to not fight David Benavidez. Coming up with doctor's notes. That's right, coming up with doctor's notes. So the bottom line is we don't know what's going to happen there as far as Benavidez is concerned. But Deontay Wilder and Chisora, that's going to be a coin flip, because Chisora, as I said, always been a bit of a gatekeeper. But Wilder got that right-hand power, sort of, that's the equalizer, ain't it? And David Morrell and Callum Smith. Last time we saw David Morrell, and actually really was against David Benavidez. He scored a bit of a surprise 12th round knockdown when he caught David Benavidez. 11th to 12th round, caught him off guard. But the bottom line is, I think that Benavidez is the best fighter pound for pound in all of boxing right now. There's nobody better, and you can't tell me that there is. I mean, he's mowed through everybody. Nobody has even come close to beating David Benavidez. Not even, I mean, come on, nobody. Anyway, let's go back to a guy that's had one loss. Of course, we talked about him in hour number one. Sebastian Fedora. What is he? 6'5", 23, 1-1. the WBC, I think, super welterweight champion, 154 pounds. He stands 6'5", 197 centimeters, and he's man, he got 80-inch reach. I mean, that's like Muhammad Ali, Tommy Hearns reach. I mean, that's long arms, no doubt about it. Of course, he's living in Coachella, California, born in West Palm Beach. But the bottom line is, he's sort of like a freak. I mean, how else can you describe a guy that's 6'5", 154? He's taking on a Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman's 31-1. Now, Keith Thurman's only lost to Manny Pacquiao. You would think that Keith Thurman lost more fights than that, but Keith Thurman doesn't fight too often. He lost to Manny Pacquiao back in 2019. Since then, he had one fight in 2022 where he beat Mario Barrios. Coincidentally, Mario Barrios, of course, the guy that lost to Ryan Garcia last week across the board. Then he beat Brock Jarvis. That was a bit of a TKO. That was in 2025. So he fought since 2019. He fought once in 2022, beating Barrios, once in 2025, and then he comes back in 2026 to take on Sebastian Fedora here. And, of course, what is Keith Thurman famous for on this show? Smoking weed in the forest. Goes off into the forest, smokes weed, gets high by himself, more power to him. Sounds like a guy I know in Marin County, but that's another story for another day. Anyway, Sebastian Fedora and Keith Thurman in the main event. Of course, this figures to rock, no doubt about that. But it's going to be, how can I put this? It's on Amazon Prime. So that means are they going to charge you this? I don't think there's a charge in this one. If you got Amazon, you can watch it. It's sort of cool. I watched an Amazon card recently, and you know what? All in all, the production was good. I mean, not the greatest mic behind the guys behind the mic. Those guys sort of suck. But the bottom line is the rest of the card was pretty damn good, no doubt about that. Now, Fedora and Thurman, there's no undercard yet, and of course, Tom Brown is the promoter. Of course, TGB Promotions. Of course, Tom Brown's also the matchmaker. But the bottom line is this is going to go down. It'll be on Amazon Prime TV. And if you it's a pay-per-view card. No, don't do this. You're going to make people. This is what makes people steal. This is what makes people steal. Sebastian Fedora is not a pay-per-view guy. Neither is Keith Thurman. Listen, if I want to watch a guy smoke weed in the forest, I can go do it myself. I don't have to pay for it. So that's what Keith Thurman brings to the dance. The fact that he's a bit of a character, a bit of an oddball. Outside of that, he's been off so long, he hasn't fought really since 2019. Anyway, bottom line is Sebastian Fedora and Keith Thurman is not a pay-per-view type of fight. But if Amazon Prime thinks they're going to make money putting this on pay-per-view, all they're going to do is encourage people to steal. They get fire sticks. They get their fire sticks hooked up. They deprogram this and deprogram that. And I mean, bottom line is everybody I know, just about everybody I know, except the guy in the other room, all right, is watching this stuff on hot TV. I don't know how they're making any money. Everybody I know steals it. Everybody. I mean, it's not people that appear on the show are stealing it. Maybe the host is stealing it. What I'm trying to say is my cable bill's not that much, so think about that. I don't have a big cable bill. Why? I'm taking the fifth. I'm not going to pay for this stuff. You can't expect me to pay for this. Even if it was back in the days when I was an HBO subcontractor, I was making $100,000 a year. Come on, man. Still not worth it. You can't make me pay for something that isn't worth paying for. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Now, look, Sebastian Fedora and Keith Thurman, it's an okay fight, but why is Keith Thurman getting a title fight seeing he hasn't fought since 2022? And the bottom line is, he's only had 3 fights like in 6 years. I mean, why is he getting a title fight? Why is it on pay-per-view? Why would you put this on pay-per-view? Who's a genius that decided to put this on pay-per-view? I mean, was it PBC? Who did this? Speaking of PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, I understand that Al Heyman, the guy behind it, the brains, of course, the guy that when I ran up to him like 2 or 3 years ago to try to interview him, he goes, Pedro, I don't talk to anybody. That's the most he's ever said in his entire life. That's the most Al Heyman's ever said. Pedro, I don't talk to anybody. Okay, he didn't talk to me. So bottom line is, Al Heyman's supposedly in bad health. I saw Kenny Weldon, of course, that was his right hand back there. And I saw him in Las Vegas last week. Of course, he was working a couple of corners as an inspirationalist. But the bottom line is PBC done? I mean, they might be. Is Al Heyman done? I hear his health is so bad he's in and out of the hospital all the time, and that he's like ready to go. He's on like death's doorstep. So the bottom line is I want to write the guy off before he's done. But the bottom line is I haven't seen a whole lot of Al Heyman. I mean, you never see much of Al Heyman, but you do hear about him, and you do see him on occasion with camera shots. And there's Al Heyman. There's Al Heyman. Or Al Heyman said this, or Al Heyman said that. Al Heyman ain't said nothing in a long time. Al Heyman. He might be on his way out the door. Straight up, this is Ring Talk Live Worldwide, your inside look at the world of boxing.
If you've got a property that you've been trying to sell and you've tried almost everything, I want to tell you about something that you haven't tried yet. You're going to think this offer is too good to be true, but it's not. Thousands of customers have sold their homes in any condition with Need to Sell My Home. This is a real opportunity from a highly rated company that buys homes all over the country. Did you know it's possible to sell your home right over the phone with no real estate commissions and no pesky open houses? Plus, every offer is a cash offer with no mortgage holdups. To find out how much you can sell your home or property for, call now. Take 5 minutes of your time and call for this 100% free quote to sell your home.
800-430-0674. 800-430-0674. 800-430-0674. That's 800-430-0674.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-853-8931. 800-853-8931. 800-853-8931. That's 800-853-8931.
Special alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations, not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers, and we have the inside track. Call now and we'll take you through these new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Get out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track to get rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. That's 800-949-0039.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
Can I just
go for
give you one postscript? After that fight, I thought of something the great sports writer Red Smith once wrote. If you want to find out who won a close fight, ask a 9-year-old kid.
Okay, time to tell some HBO gossip. Okay, bottom line is that Barry Tompkins was with KPIX News. Actually, he was with the City College of San Francisco back around 1968 or 1969. He was the KPIX guy. Of course, he got the job with KPIX Channel 5. He was the first sports guy in the Bay Area. He was the first of them. I mean, nobody else did it before. A sports guy on TV, kid you not. So anyway, he's doing his thing for KPIX. Then he moves on. He's doing some things for ESPN. Then he gets hooked up with HBO. He's the voice of HBO boxing. He's the lead of HBO boxing. He's also doing Wimbledon tennis and things like that. So anyway, one year, he's off doing Wimbledon, Texans. Can't even say it. Wimbledon, Texans. Wimbledon tennis in the UK. He's over there doing tennis, okay, Barry Tompkins. So anyway, he comes back and he's talking with Seth Abraham. They're having a lunch here in San Francisco. I'm talking about Seth Abraham, the president of HBO Sports at that point. One time he was the CEO. So anyway, Seth tells Barry, listen, you're going to be doing the Wimbledon, so Jim Lampley's going to take your spot on boxing. So Barry Tompkins had a few drinks and he says, what the hell? Why don't you just let Jim take my place all the time? Well, guess what? Jim did take his place all the time. That was the end of Barry Tompkins, of course. So that is the controversy involving Barry Tompkins. Straight up, you are tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide, your inside look at the world of boxing and MMA. Of course, Tompkins told me that he was drunk when he said that. He probably shouldn't have said it, and maybe he would still have the job. But, when I look at Barry and look at Jim, I mean, Jim's got his limitations. Jim choked his wife to death almost in front of me, and I had to pull him off, put the police chokehold on him, almost had to bitch slap him in front of a bunch of people. But the bottom line is, Jim and I have never saw eye to eye on a lot of things. He liked the way I dressed. He used to ask me who my tailor was. He thought I had a Las Vegas tailor at one point in time, so he wanted to know who my Las Vegas tailor was. I wasn't telling him nothing. Bottom line is, Jim Lampley is not my favorite guy. In fact, a lot of times you don't get along with the people you work closely with on TV. You're professionals, like Al Bernstein. Speaking of Al Bernstein, he lost his wife about a week ago, so I wish Al the very best as far as condolences are concerned. But Al and I didn't like each other. I mean, we'd be talking spit with an H just before the show goes on the air. I mean, just before we go, you'll be hearing like the music playing in the background. I'm going, Al, you can kiss my ass, blah, blah, blah. And we're going there, all right, we're coming to you live from Oklahoma. Yeah, so Al and I were pros on the air. We worked well together. And I think that was sort of like the relationship that maybe to a lesser extent that Jim Lampley had with Larry Merchant, because they were never tight. I mean, you never saw them at events together. You didn't see them drinking together, none of that kind of stuff. Didn't see them partying together after fights. Didn't see them at the HBO parties. They'd make, hello, how are you, that kind of stuff, and keep moving on. But the bottom line is they weren't tight. And that night that Lampley choked his wife, of course, the wife had those crab hands. When I say crab hands, I know those people, this sounds a little crazy, but she has hands that are shaped like a crab. They're deformed, and they're all messed up, okay? And she's a news lady down there in L.A., or she used to be. But the bottom line is Breeze, Halter, something like it. Anyway, but she had these deformed hands, and they had kids, and the kids have the deformed hands. Imagine that. Would you bring kids into the world with clawed hands? I don't know, but Jim Lampley did, so that shows you some of the limitations of Mr. Lampley. Anyway, Lampley and I never really got along, and of course, when he choked his wife, man, the only reason why I didn't snitch him off and write about it, this and that, and report it to every newspaper in the entire world was I had a great amount of respect for Seth Abraham. I didn't want to upset the HBO apple cart at that point in time. Plus, I was getting $2,000 a week for each show. So I couldn't, I mean, come on. So why upset the apple cart, right? But the bottom line is Uncle Seth, and I told him this a couple weeks ago when I saw him at Larry Merchant's 95th birthday party. It says Seth Abraham, he was like Muhammad Ali to an extent. When I said that Muhammad Ali could touch people without touching them physically, Seth Abraham could touch people without touching them physically. That's how unique a man he was. He touched people like you wouldn't believe. And, of course, he went around the planet. I mean, he was the most powerful guy in boxing. Forget Frankie Carbo and Blinky Palermo and those mobsters back in the days. Those guys weren't the most powerful guys in the history of boxing. I think Seth Abraham was. I think the fact that Seth was able to bring all these parties together, bring Don King and Dan Duvin on shows, and Don King and Bob Arum on shows. I mean, these guys are stone cold enemies, but yet Seth Abraham got them to come in there and work together. Of course, I think he brought us the heyday of boxing. Think about this. When Ali retired, and it was Ken Norton and Larry Holmes vying in 1978 for the championship. Of course, Leon Spinks had gotten beat up. But the bottom line is Ali had retired, and he was done, and these guys came along, and of course, that was sort of like HBO's first foray into the world of boxing. From that point forward, they sort of controlled the game. I mean, they did. When HBO spoke, everybody listened. That's just the way it was. And the guy behind all this was Seth Abraham. He was able to work with these networks. He was able to work with other networks. He was able to work with other promoters. I mean, he was the messiah of boxing without a doubt. And I miss him. And when I told him last week or a couple of weeks ago how much of a positive impact he had on me and my family, he couldn't believe it. He couldn't, neither his wife. His wife couldn't believe it either. I mean, you don't get to see. Listen, it's not often you get to see people that have shined a light on you and made you a better person, both physically, mentally, professionally, the whole 9 yards. But I'm telling you, Uncle Seth made me feel that way. I mean, he flew me around first class, didn't fly me on the Concorde. That's the only beef I have with HBO, is they didn't fly me on the Concorde. They flew the impeccable one on the Concorde, but I didn't fly the Concorde. I don't get it. Concorde was this plane that went from I take that back. It went from London to New York like 3 hours. It took me 6 hours on the regular plane. We were both at Heathrow Airport after a Hamed fight with Johnny Bungu. I think it was about 2004. And Uncle Seth says to me, "I'll see you later." I said, "No, we're going to New York together. I'll see you about the same time." No. I'll see you. I'll be there in 2 hours. You'll be there in 6 hours. Bottom line is, that was flying the Concorde back in the day. Speaking of Larry Merchant, 95 a couple of weeks ago, I talked to him on the phone yesterday. I was going to get him on today's show, but he's got a couple things on the plate as far as this weekend's concerned, so we want to give him a bit of a pass, but he'll be back next week. Of course, the retired HBO Godfather, now 95 years young. What can I say? And, of course, at his birthday party, I ran into Ray Charles Leonard, my old running partner. Now, Ray Charles Leonard turned 7 years old on May the 16th. Ray Charles Leonard, the guy in the 7-Up or the Coca-Cola commercials back in the 1976 Olympics is now 70 years old. Like he's young. The guy that was married to Juanita, of course, he got married after that to Bernadette, and that's who he's been married to since the 80s. But the bottom line is his teenage love. Of course, they had a couple of kids together, Jarrell and Ray Jr., and that was Juanita Leonard. Of course, Juanita Leonard, a bit of a controversial lady afterwards. But the bottom line is they were teenage lovers, and then Ray, of course, blossomed off, did his own thing. And when I think of Ray Leonard as a fighter, I can't think of a better fighter, pound for pound. I mean, I used to say Roberto Duran was better than him, but I really gave it some thought. You know, Roberto Duran, although he was the greatest fighter probably in the history of the 135-pound division, when it came to 147, although he beat Ray Leonard, that was his peak. He beat guys at 154 like Davey Moore, and of course lost to guys at 154 like Wilfred Benitez, guys that Leonard had beat. What I'm trying to tell you is I think that Leonard was just a shade better than Roberto Duran as far as the all-time pound-for-pound list. Now, got to shoot short Texas shot in here. I talked about Fernando Vargas' kid going into the 10th round, I believe, with Emiliano Vargas last night. Of course, he looked really good doing that. Mr. Quintana came to fight. He was bold. I mean, he came, man. Augustin Quintana, he showed the stones of he showed the intestinal fortitude of a man that was not to be denied. Of course, after a courageous effort, he falls to 22-3 with a draw on 13 KOs. But Vargas remains undefeated now, 17-0, 14 KOs. Some people thought the referee was a little bit early in stopping that, but I'm telling you, man, it's better to stop fights early than it is to stop fights late. I mean, look at Muhammad Ali. People say to me, "Oh man, come on." No. That slurring your speech, I slur my speech every week. But the bottom line is, when you're slurring your speech after a prolonged career as a professional boxer, those are the residual effects of professional boxing. And some people can't see that. I mean, when you heard Fernando Vargas last night talking in his son's corner, you could hear that the residual effects of the the dope and the booze and the steroids and not taking care of business and ballooning up in weight, the whole 9 yards. I mean, and the boxing itself is taking its toll on Fernando Vargas. We wish him the very best, of course, ferocious Fernando Vargas. Still looking forward to the March 28th fight on the Zone. Of course, talking about Moses Itama. He is the future of the heavyweight division. He is the future. 13-0, 11 knockouts. Jermaine Franklin, a little speed bump. I don't think it's going to be much of a fight there. Of course, I think that Moses is the king. I want you to watch this fight. You don't have to have you don't have to pay for pay-per-view. This is going to be on regular Zone. Of course, DAZN. Check it out via the app. You can get it on your iPhone. You get it on your computer. You get it on your TV. You get it on your Android phone. You name it. The Zone is there. But Moses Itama, 13-0, 11 knockouts, the future of the heavyweight division, taking on Jermaine Franklin, March 28th. Of course, we mentioned the Fedora card going on. That's going to go down March 28th as well, and that'll be on Amazon Prime. So one's on pay-per-view, one's not on pay-per-view. Find a way to watch fights that are on pay-per-view if you don't have to pay for them. Go over somebody's house, watch it through the binoculars, through somebody's window. I mean, find somebody to pool together and put the money together. Like, $70. I mean, imagine that. If you want to watch UFC, it's like $75. $75 to watch UFC. Now, I'm not a UFC fan, but if you want to watch UFC, it's $75. Pay-per-view cards, $69. They're just not worth it. They're taking too much of your money. What they got to do is they've got to find some way to distribute these fights where people really can't steal them, but you can give them to people at a reasonable price. I mean, reasonable is where it's at. I don't want to get gouged. Like, if I was to buy all the fights I was supposed to buy this month, including the UFC, I probably spend about $300 or $400 on my cable bill. Who the hell can spend $300 or $400 on the cable? That's why people steal. Speaking of stealing, Ryan Garcia didn't steal nothing last week. Won every second of every round. Talk about the fight against Mario Barros going down at the T-Mobile Arena last Saturday night, 12-round decision. One judge had it 120-107, one judge had it 119-109, one judge had it 118-109. One judge gave him 1 round, one judge gave him 2 rounds. Talk about Mario Barros. I gave him 0 rounds. Straight up, we'll hear from Ryan Garcia after the break. This is Ring Talk, live worldwide on Sports Byline.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624. Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
How do you get psyched up for a fight?
Well, isolation is big for me, getting away from my family, my friends, close friends, etc. Putting myself in jail is the way that I call it.
Yeah?
And I'm looking forward to getting out of there, really. It's no vacation.
No friends, no family, anything?
Nothing. And it worked very, very reasonable for me. Some fighters are different. They have to have a lot of people around them and a lot of action going on. Myself, I basically just want to concentrate just on my opponent and get my conditioning together.
Anyway, it's always great to have you on the show.
My pleasure.
The marvelous one, Marvin Hagler. Speaking of marvelous, I know this Barry Rabbits, of course, the British boxing hero, boxing historian, of course, and Sir Thomas Dillemuth, Tommy D. Call him what you want. But the bottom line is, of course, Sir Tommy D. These guys are upset at the fact that Ryan Garcia looked so good last week. But the bottom line is, just to infuriate them a little bit more, let's roll this Ryan Garcia interview.
Ryan, congratulations. You just said to me, you don't know how to wrap that belt around. You never won a championship before. You said for a long time that world titles didn't mean all that much to you. What does it feel like now being a world champion?
Oh, it feels great, man. But it feels better to be a child of God, to be honest. My Father in heaven, thank you. You guided me all the way through. I wouldn't be able to do it without you, Lord. And I just want to give all the praise to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's above everything. This is great. I'm dedicating this to my dad, though.
You said coming in, Ryan, that this fight was do or die for you. You needed to put on a brilliant performance. And then you go out and you pitch a near shutout on all the scorecards. Was this the performance that you were looking for?
Oh, yeah. It was one of the ones that I wanted to show, my whole arsenal. I believe it was like a masterclass, but I should have got the knockout, to be honest. I got to grade myself on that. I had him hurt many times, but I hurt my right hand. So guys, it wasn't just a left hook. Y'all were saying left hook the whole time. I see my right hand working tonight. But it was a great fight. You know, Mario's a tough warrior. You know, I got respect for him, fellow Mexican-American, and, you know, we put on a hell of a show.
Talk to me about that right hand, because you came out in the opening round, and that was all you were throwing, straight right hands. Yeah. Scored the only knockdown of the fight with that right hand. Did you believe that he was underestimating that shot from you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, early in my career, all my knockouts were with the right hand. I just had to let it heal a little bit. You know, I had a lot of injuries with the right hand, so I had to master my left hook. But, you know, my right hand was working really good today to the 6th, 7th round. But other than that, you know, it went well.
You said during this fight week this was going to be a classic Ryan Garcia fight, but this felt like a new version of you, going 12 rounds and winning wide on the scorecards. Did you show something different in this fight?
I just showed my amateur pedigree. You know, I could box. You know, I could move, I could box, I could take my time. You know, I don't always just have to go for the knockout. I didn't want to get too ahead of myself. Mario was countering a lot of fast shots. Could have caught me in between the shots, so I had to be very selective on my opportunities. And I didn't want to get caught with a big shot, so I took my time in there and picked my shots.
You said Mario was a tough guy. He is a tough guy. At any point during the fight, were you surprised that he was taking so many shots?
Yeah, I thought he was going to go. I'm surprised he went all 12. I was hitting him with some great shots. I heard him multiple times. But like I told you, he's a tough son of a... That's all I can say.
Now you're back with your father. Went 15-0 with him early in your career. Now 1-0 with a world championship. Now, what does it mean to you, not just to win this title, but to win it with your dad in your corner?
Oh, it's like it was written on a story. You know what I mean? It was something... It's something that I wouldn't want any other way. You know, there's a special relationship with your father, man. If you got your dad, tell him you love him, you know, and I love you, Dad.
I love you, too.
Thank you for everything.
I love you, of course, Ryan.
I love you all my heart.
I love you, Mil. I love you.
You know, there was a lot of pressure, Ryan, coming into this fight. If you didn't perform and show out, who knows where your career would have gone. Did you feel that pressure during this fight week?
Not really, man. Like, this is, like I was saying in the beginning, this is secondary to everything I really, truly follow in my life. I just want to say, everybody, a lot of distractions in the world, a lot of that's going on. You guys know what I talk about, but keep your eyes on Jesus, man. And always protect the children. Protect the children.
You've always, Ryan, you've always been in a strong negotiating position when it comes to fights. Now, you are not only a star, you're a world champion as well. That's a pretty good negotiating position to be in. As you look at your next fight, what do you want it to be?
You know who I want. He's right there, Shakur Stevenson. Let's go. Let's run that. Hey, I want to be a great champion, and I'm not scared of I fought Devin Haney. I'll fight Shakur Stevenson. I'll fight anybody. Let's go.
You know, Shakur Stevenson, Ryan. Shakur Stevenson was on our DAZN broadcast earlier. Said he's levels above you right now. What do you think of that?
The thing is, like, you got to have some type of punching power to get me off you, because it'll be a different style, and I'm not going to hit him light. Nah. Every time I get, boom, I'm putting it on him, you know. I want that fight. Shakur, let's get it. I see you. Hey, I like the hat. You look fly, but I want that work. Let's get it.
Congratulations on outstanding performance.
Yeah, thank you, Drew.
Ryan Garcia, of course, the twice-beaten fighter, now WBC welterweight champion, having beaten Mario Barrios like a drum last week, of course. Let's talk about the promotional wars going on. Of course, talk about the Saudi Arabians starting to take over boxing, trying to take over boxing. According to BoxingScene.com, Glendale, Arizona, they wrote an article, Eddie Hearn, promoter Eddie Hearn, of course, longtime promotional peer in the UK, Frank Warren, and the legendary pitchman Don King, 94 years old, have filed lawsuits against the Saudi Arabians presiding over some boxing issues. Bottom line is, while Hearn has watched his former two standouts, file suit, he decided he's going to do it negotiation-wise. In other words, he's going to outdo them. In other words, outwork them, outbid them. Bottom line is, he says he's going to want to beat them with superior talent and quality bouts rather than seeking some type of court victory. Bottom line is, I wish Eddie Hearn the very best, because he's going against Dana White, going against some money, and of course, Dana White's not my favorite guy, no doubt about that. Now, let's look at the day in history. Our house historian talk about Sin City. No, not Sin City Richie. That's our old historian. Talk about Big Time Frank 1961. Rocky Lockwood scored a February 26, 1984. Rocky Lockwood scored a first-round knockout of Roger the Black Mamba Mayweather. Mamba undefeated, coming, of course, the uncle of Floyd Mayweather. The fight was held in Beaumont, Texas. Lasted 1 minute and 31 seconds, 91 to 98 seconds. Holy cow! In the opening round, Lockwood was a 4-1 underdog, coming off two narrow losses at 126 pounds. Landed a devastating right hand, and the previous unbeaten Mayweather went to the ground. He never got up. February 28th. 1983. Boy, I'm having a hard time talking today. Probably not today to be a radio star. Not starring, definitely. Howard Davis Jr. was knocked down twice with left hooks, but he got up and went on to score a 10-round controversial decision over the undefeated Tony Baltazar, Tony the Tiger Baltazar. I slept with his girlfriend, his wife or something like that. We had an affair. One of either his wife or his ex-girlfriend, something like that. We had a bit of an affair back in the 90s down there in L.A. Anyway, Tony in a nationally televised lightweight bout from Resorts International in Atlantic City, Howard Davis told Baltazar after the fight, "You can punch." He said he only remembered one of the two knockdowns, but the bottom line is that's how hard he was hit. Of course, man, Howard Davis, may he rest in peace, but he was a good guy, no doubt about that. But Howard got floored in the 5th and the 8th round, and yet those two two-point rounds, and he still got the win. Bit of a stinker, of course, no doubt about that. Listen, controversy in boxing, really? Gene Fulmer, not my favorite guy. I mean, as far as a fighter is concerned, I didn't think he was that good. I mean, come on, he was world middleweight champion, but so what? I'm going to tell you like this. On March 4th, 1961, Gene Fulmer defeated Sugar Ray Robinson by 15-round decision. Robinson was like 95 years old at that time. It was Convention Center in Las Vegas, California. It was the fourth and final meeting between the two rivals. Fulmer won 2 of their bouts. Robinson won 1. Legendary 1957 knockout, and 1 ended in a draw. This was Ray Robinson's last world title fight. Though he continued to box for 4 more years, retiring in 1965, the age of 44, Ray Robinson never fought again for a world championship. Let me tell you about Ray Robinson, okay? I thought he was the most overrated fighter in the history of boxing. People say to me, how can you say that? Man, he's a boxing god. He's a legend, this and that. No, man, he fought in an era where other guys couldn't fight. I mean, if the other guys can't fight, yeah, you're going to look good. There's no doubt about it. And that's what it was. I think it was more that the other guys couldn't fight than he was that good. Ooh, do I really say that? Muhammad Ali says I'm wrong. Everybody says I'm wrong, but I don't think so. March 6, 1976, Wilfredo Benitez. A vegetable now, and I say he's a vegetable, I mean that he's a vegetable. He can't talk, he can't write, he can't speak. He never could write to begin with, but he had problems signing contracts. He was an idiot savant. When I say an idiot savant, I mean a guy that's brilliant at one thing, but an idiot at everything else. He was like retarded. I couldn't get him to talk about anything but my girlfriend. He wanted to talk about a girlfriend. I thought the dude was a bit of a sexual freak. I mean, think about this. We're here in California, in San Francisco, I think it was 1984. And we're here. He's going to fight, and I'm training for the Olympic trials. We're having a good time down in the gym. And every time I see him, I want to pump up for something, get some boxing acumen out of this guy. Come on, he's a world champion, right? Yeah, was a world champion. Bottom line is, he couldn't say anything. He couldn't talk. He couldn't speak. I mean, I asked him questions like, "Do you think Roberto Duran's tough?" He said, "How's your girlfriend? How old is your girlfriend?" I said, "Do you think Bailey Peck can fight at all?" "How's your girlfriend? How's your girlfriend?" I mean, that's all he wanted to talk about was your girlfriend. So I never understood what was going on until later on. I realized that he was an idiot savant, and that's not a slant or anything. It's just the way it is. Anyway, on March 6, 1976, he broke into the history books at the age of 17 by defeating Antonio Cervantes to become the youngest world champion of boxing history. Benitez was a 4-1 underdog when he faced a 30-year-old Colombian. Of course, I talked to you about the Colombian. Don King told me we're going to Colombia to see Antonio Cervantes. I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, you're going to need to fly down with me." He brought me down there as his bodyguard. DK didn't tell me going in I was his bodyguard. If he'd known, I would have maybe I would have had a different attitude. But the bottom line is we got down there, and I said, "Don, there's not a lot of publicity for me to do." He goes, "Man, you're my bodyguard. You're my security." Bottom line is executive protection for DK, and Bogota, Colombia was a joy, except for the ride back from that restaurant. I talked about that many times on the show. But the bottom line is Joe Louis retired from boxing March 1st, 1949, with a record of 68 wins and 1 loss. Woo, man, 68 and 1. Of course, lost that one fight to Billy Conn, came back and beat Billy Conn. But he came out of retirement. I think he didn't lose to Billy Conn. Who did he lose to? Who did he lose that first fight to? I looked that up. My boxing historian, Frank, let me know. My mind's slipping me right now. Who did Joe Louis lose that first fight to? Anyway, Joe Louis retired from the boxing ring March 1st, 1949, with a record of 68 wins and 1 loss. He came out of retirement in 1950 and said he needed to earn money, but he could not recapture the previous winning streak. He was old. Come on, man. He lost his last major bout, his last bout against future world heavyweight champion Rocky Marciano, October 26, 1951. That was when Marciano knocked him out of the ring. I mean, out of the ring onto the floor. I mean, the ring. It was really ugly. And of course, Joe Louis, 38 years old, 38, looking like he was 90. I mean, good Joe, man. Joe didn't even use the hair dye. He just came in with gray hair, the whole 9 yards. Anyway, Joe was older than he looked, I thought. And as far as history is concerned, Joe Louis will go down as one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time. But I don't know, man. I think the modern-day heavyweights would have beat him pretty easily. I mean, I don't think he could have stood a chance with a guy like Vladimir Klitschko. I mean, Vladimir Klitschko's 6'5". Some people say to me Vladimir Klitschko's a bit of a robot, and Joe Louis will be able to get inside. I just don't know. Listen, sometimes size, well, I say this a lot, but size matters in two things, pornography and combat sports. This is combat sports, and a lot of times size does prevail, but there are exceptions to the rule. Speaking of exceptions to the rule, let's go to an early break. You are tuned to Ring Talk, live worldwide on Sports Byline, baby!
Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097. Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
It was a play that you make 1,000 times in a game or during a season. Hit a guy, and you always expect him to get up. And Stingley just didn't get up.
Did you ever apologize to Darryl Stingley?
No, I didn't. I apologize because Darryl got hurt, and I'm sorry he got hurt, but I will never apologize for the way I play football.
Number 32, Jack Tatum, Oakland Raiders. May he rest in peace. He died in 2010, July 27th, with a heart attack and some diabetes issues. But the bottom line is, he was my closed circuit buddy. We go to the fights together at Ricky's Sports Theater over in San Leandro, California. Had a good time being around Jack. And, of course, Al Davis was there a couple times. Al Davis, not my favorite guy, but the bottom line is Al was a character, no doubt about that. Now, speaking of characters, you know, Eddie Hearn was talking about Dana White coming into boxing and this, and he says, you know, boxing, it's a Wild West. It's a different kind of animal just to control you can't just control it, as Dana White does with the UFC and MMA, Hearn said. So they're going to have to put up with things. You've seen Dana at press conferences calling rival promoters like Eddie Hearn effing idiots, the P word, all these calm down, mate. We're just getting started. In other words, they're used to having total control. He's talking about Dana White. You're not going to get that in boxing unless you buy everybody out. And we're the wrong characters for that. We're resilient. This is what we do. We go up against each other and battle against the politics. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to do any battling. They just want to come in there and take over. I'm talking about Dana White, of course, and Zuffa boxing. Good luck on that one. I'm not a big fan of Dana White. I'm not a fan of Zuffa boxing, no doubt about that. And, of course, the guy that Joe Louis lost to the first time, Max Schmeling. I mean, come on, the German. I mean, how could I forget that? Bottom line is I want to thank you guys. Of course, Frank, 1961, the House Historian. Matt, Main Event Matt, coming to you from St. Louis, of course. And I want to thank my poor partners. You know, Tommy D's been in New York. Tommy D is like, he's snowed in. There's been 1.5 feet of snow on the sidewalk, and the mayor evidently got a bunch of people together and hired him at $30 an hour to sweep the streets and this and that, and to clean the streets up as far as the snow's concerned. That's pretty smart, no doubt about that. I give the mayor props for that. And, of course, New York, it's the reason why I didn't live there. The snow, I couldn't handle it. They've sent me there in February. Some network, some TV network and a radio station wanted me to go to New York, and I went there in February. That was probably the wrong time to bring me to New York because it was cold as not hell, cold as the North Pole. And the bottom line is I was not going to stay there, no way. Just like Vegas. When they put me to Vegas, they brought me to Vegas, they brought me in July. It was like 100 degrees. We want you to live here? No. Should have brought me at more optimum times. Bottom line is, this has been another edition of Ring Talk Live Worldwide, your inside look at the world of boxing and MMA. Of course, coming to you live from the Sports Byline Studios in the City by the Bay, San Francisco, California. My name is Pedro Fernandez. I want to thank you for tuning in. Of course, I want to thank my house historian, Frank 1961. Of course, the Main Event Matt. I want to thank all the people that tune in on Twitch TV and YouTube as well. And of course, straight up, I'm trying to improve the broadcast. I'm trying to rebrand things. Tommy D rebranded his show. I think we might rebrand this one. Who knows? Ring Talk Global. Who knows? Straight up, this has been another edition of Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Until next time, keep your hands up, keep your chin down, but most importantly, keep your butt off the canvas of life. I want to thank my impeccable producer, the impeccable one, Mr. Bailey Peck. Outside of that, I've just stuttered my way through a 2-hour show. Thank you so much for tolerating me. This is a production of Sports Byline.
Hollywood.